So I'm holding off on doing another video, mostly just because I'm like, I don't want this to feel like a job. So I'm not going to do it unless I want to. And I had some plans this afternoon, um, and they fell through. And so I was like, well, I've got this footage laying around of me commuting home a couple weeks ago on a Friday, uh, and some footage recorded that weekend of me actually doing a bike check. And I thought, why not? So I just like, I'm gonna have essentially two chapters for this. The first long half is me without a script trying to figure out how to describe what my bike means to me. And then the second half is gonna be a part that when I was filming it, I was doing the voiceover because I figured, well, it's gonna be annoying to try and anticipate what I'm gonna say, so I'm just gonna record this. So if you don't give a fuck about the feelings that I have behind owning this bike and what it's like riding and ride feel and why I like it so much and why you might like it, skip. And then at the end, I'm just going to go over actually like, I think down to the bottom bracket, what I have on this bike. So anyway, in the past, I wrote I wrote an article for, I think, issue 15 of Calling In Sick, where I was kind of comparing the Toyo Atlantis that a friend of mine had given to me on a long-term loan, and then this. So a 2000 Atlantis, 2001 Atlantis, and this 2022. And I first saw an Atlantis parked on Mission Street in like 2008, and I'm pretty sure I had a smartphone, but internet sucked. So I just went back to my college dorm, and I was like, oh man, I gotta look up that bike. It's so sick. And I looked up the price, and I'm like, nah, that's okay. I'm never gonna own that. But the fact is I never knew that bikes could be that beautiful up until that point. I'd always had like beach cruisers or things like that. Like I had an Electra beach cruiser as a kid, like painted matte black with like flames and like dice on it. And anyway, it was sick. Okay, it was sick living in coastal California and Huntington Beach. But yeah, and so I just kind of I kind of put that away, and then I was already into like track bikes and stuff. MASH had gone to Austin to visit Lance Armstrong. I'm pretty sure, like, Lance Armstrong? Yeah, right? Lance, yeah, okay. I'm like trying to do this without a script, and then I'm like drinking the sparkling water. But they were down there with Lance, and I was so impressed. I was like, these guys are so cool. I still think they're cool, honestly. Like, the way that I try to ride this stupidly overloaded bike is like how I saw the guys in MASH ride, and how the guys who ride for MASH still ride, which is just like reckless abandon. They're very skillful. Like, it's not like they're taking insane risks so much as they're just much more advanced with their cycling ability than I am, or most people. But I just like love riding in like urban environments, faster than makes sense, and just anyway, navigating in and out of cars is so fun. But I had a bunch of track bikes, and I loved those. And then I had like a lugged steel road bike back in 2011. And then 2012, I got another fixed gear, and then I spent some years away from a bike, and a running injury took me back to bikes. And I got the first bike ever that fit me, thanks to the now defunct Wiggle Bikes. This guy Michael, who's a mechanic there, was just so wonderful. Anyway, I'm sorry they're gone. Then I got a Ritchie Swiss Cross in a deal with a friend of a friend. And by that I mean an $800 bike that should have cost me like $2,000 or whatever. But I loved that. And then I got a mid-80s Ritchie Ascent mountain bike from SF Bike Trader Ruben. His shit is amazing. And then I got this. And like the factors that came into it, I talked a little bit about it, and like the going over the parts and stuff. I'm not going to get into it right now. I'm just going to say that it's funny, like I'm a guy, I'm very much like a one of this kind of thing guy. Like I'm not like I get something, and then I'm like with certain things like I buy this thing and I'm like, oh, it's good, but it could be better, or this or that. I'm weirdly enough in the last like 5 to 10 years getting to a place where like I just get that thing, and that's all I want. I don't want for anything else. Like about 10 years ago, I got my watch. I've had it for 10 years. I've never wanted anything else. I got this bike in 2022. I've ridden other bikes. I've had other bikes. And I realized quickly they're just not this bike. It's just amazing. I like so I had a Wolverine. I loved it. Like 435 mil chain stays, like drop bars, super cool. Quite frankly, very stable, very fast, twitchy, great at climbing, great at descending. Much like this bike, except it was actually maneuverable. Like this bike just does not want to turn. And it just didn't have it for me. There's just something about the way that this fork rides over washboards, the way that the long wheelbase, it just is such a confident bike. And at the expense of sportiness, absolutely. But there's nothing like trying to make a bike that's not meant to go fast. It is so fun. I love the challenge. And growing up in Southern California, I just am so partial to like maxed out rigs and stupid shit like that I love having a bike that is mostly for urban commuting on paved paths that, does some dirt, and then I do weekends in Marin that has giant 2.3-inch knuckles. It makes no sense, but it looks sick. I just love how this bike looks to me. The way I've got it, I love I love the Nito cockpit. Like looking at these bars all the time is like just beautiful to me. The bike itself to me is really beautiful. This to me is the best color of bike ever made, And like that's an opinion that was formed when I first saw it in 2008. So it's like these are very, thinking about it, 17 years ago. That's like early, like a lot of stuff that I do in my life and I enjoy, it's because of childhood influences, stuff when I was a young adult, stuff that was very meaningful and impactful. So it's just not surprising to me that this color is just the color for me. This is just the color. I love all the Riv colors. Like, let me be clear, I get to see a lot of them in person because I get to work with them for work and their close proximity. Will is very nice. I run into him around town, and there are a lot of aged out skaters who are riding Rivendells around San Francisco. That said, there is nothing that compares to this color, in my opinion. I don't care. It's just, this is the best. I'm actually sitting in my kitchen, kind of sipping this Saratoga while I look at my bike in the kitchen next to a lime olive Rodini that I just got. And I have the Rodini because the opportunity was there, and the bike is fucking sick. And I want a lighter bike for maybe like weekend stuff. But the bike that is always going to be the everything bike, and has been the reason why I pass on a lot of bikes and I get a lot of great opportunities, is because this bike is just too much fun. Like for example, like this footage here of me just bombing down the front side of Twin Peaks. It's like this bike is just meant to like bump along and like city trails and whatever. It is like rated. It is like ATSM 3 like mountain bike rating. Like FYI, Rivendell doesn't fuck around with bike safety ratings. It's absurd. But like just bombing this, it's like the humming of the wheels or the tires on the pavement. This bike is just it. I always have a shit-eating grin when I'm riding it around town. There's nothing that I like doing better than commuting on this bike and running errands around town. And for me, that is why a bike is like beautiful, is because it can be integrated very naturally into your day-to-day life. I love recreating by bike. I love a lot of the folks who love recreating by bike. I think that's so cool. I love recreating by bike, but really I love living on my bike. And this Rivendell, for me, makes me want to live on my bike. It makes me want to eschew the opportunity to drive my car. I don't want to drive. I don't want to walk. I want to ride my bike. I don't give a shit about the bus. I want to ride my bike. I only want to ride my bike. And so that's for me, that's why I love this, is because all it makes me want to do is ride my bike more. I think that's what every bike should inspire in someone. And so that's why I say, like, I've wanted to skip a bike check video, because I don't think a Rivendell is the answer to everyone's problem. I don't think it's the bike for everyone, but this bike is absolutely the bike for me. Like, I rode that Toyo Atlantis a bunch. I love that Toyo Atlantis. And you know what they say about meeting your heroes. I rode it. It's a great bike. It is not for me. I get so many people are hung up on it and love it and spend way more money than you should. Stop spending $4 grand for those. That's fucking stupid. But it's just not the bike for me, because this bike is so stupid and big and goofy and fun and obviously well designed. and it's made by people who love bikes and ride bikes all the time, because that is what is so fun. Like, it's so much more fun to get around a city or a town or anywhere by bike than by car. Walking is sick. I walked all day today. Biking is just more fun. It's just, like, I get to run errands and have a shit-eating grin. I get to bike to work and be stoked on, like, it just is a more joyful life when lived on a bike. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I'm probably gonna have some more videos soon. I'm actually gonna be visiting my mom in Texas soon, and I kind of wanted to make a video talking about, like, I guess something that's considered political. I don't think it is, and that is that bike infrastructure and the opportunity for multimodal transportation is just better for everyone's mental health. I mean, the fact that that's controversial is insane, and if you think that that is, like, highly politicized or ridiculous, then have you heard of therapy? You should go. So anyway, thanks for listening. All right. So here is my Atlantis. I've been kind of avoiding doing this video, mostly because I don't want to be a gear channel, and I don't want to be misconstrued that you only have to have a Rivendell to be happy. But for me, that's how it's been. That's a lie I've told myself, you know. The first Atlantis I saw was 2008. I actually wrote a Calling in Sick article about it, and my initial Atlantis review that I put in the Radivist in 2022, 23 kind of said the same thing, so I'm not really going to go over it here, but this is how I have it built up right now. So this is the run of Atlantises from 2022. This is a 62 centimeter, like, what is it, 550 mil chainstays. It's stupid. And these are 2.3s. So right now I have this tire here because I, like, the front door of a friend's apartment building last weekend caught it and put a giant tear in the sidewall and destroyed the inner tube. But I've been running these 2.3 inch wire bead Mountain Kings, and I love them because mostly they just look really sick and aggressive, you know. Like, I don't need this, I don't need these. I'd probably be better suited by a slick, because most of my riding is urban, you know. Like, I commute to work in South City every day, and then I hit trails on the way back. I'll do trails in Marin on the weekends sometimes, not all the time. Mostly on weekends I'm like running errands, or I'll occasionally do a Marin spin on trails, but you know, mostly it's like road or inner city trails for me. So yeah, so we'll start at the front. I'm running Cliffhanger rims front and rear. It's laced to one of those Kasai field serviceable dynamo hubs up front. Field serviceable in that, like, you can buy the dynamo coil and do it yourself at home, not like you're literally out on a ride and you replace it. Okay. And then this is that RBW 52F Nito front rack made for Rivendell. I have the second version that has like the ability to slide it back so you can change where it sits and center of gravity and stuff. So, and then I'm using a cage, one part of the derailleur cage from a Suntour 3-pulley rear derailleur. It blew up on me on a trail. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna take this cage and use it to put this Edelux 2 here. I bought this from a friend in a friend deal for like $75. Don't hate me. Yeah, that, like, this bike has a lot of free shit on it, or stuff I got for a deal or traded for. It's not even just because I work in the bike industry. It's just like sometimes shit luck. But yeah, so I have that. I have a Paul quick release, one in the back too. This is a walled 139, and to avoid rack sag or basket sag, I have some Nito like 350 mil struts in here. I have Paul Neo Retros front and rear, and then I'm using a Moon Units front and rear just because I wanted it matching. I have an FSA headset. This is the one that came with the bike. I serviced it once and never since. And then I have like the Diacompi Uno flat bar shifter. And then I don't like the D-ring that comes with it. It can slip even with some blue Loctite. So I put one of these brass wing nuts in here. And then I've got the Paul cantilevers. And then I have the Paul bar end plugs. I used to have a pink reflector, so I got this when I had a pink reflector. And then the only other, so the headset and these handlebars are the only two things original to this build. And these are the Nito Philip brazed handlebars that were made for Rivendell and kind of spec'd on the original Ritchie handlebars made in the 80s by Nito. And then these are the IRD Gordo grips. So they're they're essentially the ESI knockoffs, but I like them better than the ESIs because they don't crumble. But like, unlike the ESIs, which you can kind of remove, once you have these fuckers on, that's it. Don't even bother trying to get them off, cut them off, get a new pair. That's kind of what sucks. I have this little ghost flower that Rintaro and May sent me because I sent them some stuff. So they sent me this and some other cute things like this sticker over here that I absolutely adore. Yeah, so anyway, I love this. And then I have a Crane written rotary bell that, like, mine's a little ragged, but I love these. I absolutely love these. And what else? A buddy of mine works at Specialized, and I needed some new chains, and he had some of these KMC 12-speed gold chains laying around, and then he sent these, and I thought, like, what's more like anti-riv than a Specialized water bottle? So I have these. These are the Slug King Cage collab cages, so that they have Slug Corp stamped on the inside. That is their unique feature, but titanium because I want to save weight. I have the Paul 100% pure cranksets on here, and I went with a 40-tooth IRD Polaris front chainring, 107 mil square taper bottom bracket. I have a QB 75 from IRD on here. I don't give a shit about bottom brackets, honestly. I destroy them. It doesn't matter if they're super nice or super shitty. I destroy them. It's not because they're square taper. It has nothing to do with my mechanical skills. It's just, I'm 190, this is a 50-pound bike, and I beat the shit out of my stuff. And then I've tried so many different pedals. Like, here, I've got some grease on here. Gross. Gonna get on my hand instead because that's less gross, I guess. These are the MKS Gamma pedals that MKS made for Rivendell. And I've tried so many different kinds. I have a really generous friend at Wolf Tooth who is willing to give me a deal on some of the waveform pedals, and I thought about it, and then I was just like, quite frankly, this is what works. I ride in some redback like Chelsea style boots, and I've ridden in Vans and all sorts of stuff, and this just I have huge feet, so anyone who's complaining that the platform is too small, I don't know what to tell you other than that's a ridiculous complaint. But I have 15 and a half, like my feet are 15, that's 15 and a half. This is fine, all right? This is all I need. I don't need the wing extenders. I don't like them. I'm so glad they're available. I hate them. We actually provide them and sell them for Rivendell. I don't like them. I just like these as is. It's no bullshit. They're a heavy ass pedal, but dude, MK, look at that shit. What's not to like? Okay, so I had to restart this because my SD card filled up. So I'm gonna start at this point. So this is my other bike is your mom sticker from Scenic Routes, which I love, a local bike co-op. And then I mostly used vintage rear derailleurs that didn't have a clutch, and because they didn't have a clutch, there's so much chain slap, and I would get my chains stuck in here. So I have this old Shimano wolf tooth or shark tooth that I love. Let's see what else. Nito, love that. Isaac over at Peace Sports sent this to me, and I love this. This is like, it's an XL. So, you know, everyone here in the city has these little teeny tiny blue lug reflectors and are all cool guy, and I love those. This is the complete antithesis, and it honestly makes sense for how gigantic my bike is. S83 seat post, really like it. It could be in any, I mean, it's jewel-like, it's beautiful, and I just love that it's 2-bolt, so I don't have to worry because I thrash on this bike. This is, what is this? This is Gilbertude Aspen, right? Yeah, because it has steel rails, and this is from the first generation from 2008. So it didn't have the anti-twist thing, and I got that sent to me from the folks at Bertude. They're super nice. This is a brown one, and a buddy of mine hated it, so he gave it to me for free. I feel very lucky. These levers, my buddy Phil sold them to me for $100. Thank you. My wife bought them for me. Thank you, Leslie. My buddy at Specialized got a deal for me on this XTR rear derailleur, and I like it just because it looks sick and because I'm running a 40 11 to 50 9-speed. So I have this on friction and limited to only shift the 9-speed. And then what else? Cliffhangers laced to an 11-speed rim, or an 11-speed silver hub, and then the Stone Age wheels. So this is Will at Rivendell. He built this wheel for me, which was very nice of him. This is one of those lamp holder things from Nito, and I put it in a vise so that I could run this huge dad light back here. I'm like, if you're gonna run a dynamo light, why are you gonna run a small one? Run a real light. So I have this. And then I have this P-clamp setup over here from, Will gave this to me also, so I could run this, and then Take a Trip, which is no longer extant, used to make these bungees, so I have that to hold this Zeffel in place. Yeah, and so that's kind of my setup. Like, all the specs, what I'm running, a 40 to 1150 9-speed, because that's absurd. It's an S-Ride cassette. We sell those at Soma Mary Sales. I just carry, honestly, if I could get another, I buy the stuff for my bike because it's the cheapest I can get and the least expensive at the highest quality. And anything I have on my bike, my goal is ideally inexpensive, preferably free. I don't ask for handouts. If I get good deals, it's because people want to give me a good deal. But yeah, I had wanted an Atlantis forever, and I actually, I just was like, I felt very lucky to get this. But quite frankly, I bought a lot of the stuff on here. I've been given a lot of stuff. Full disclosure too, I got a deal on the frame and parts, the initial parts for it, but I didn't even pay for that. My dad died in 2022, and I was having a horrible time, and my mom was like, hey, you hate yourself and want to die and miss your dad. Do you want your dream bike? And I said, if you are willing to do that for me, then I'd appreciate it deeply. And I honestly feel like this bike saved my life, and working in the bike industry has given me a new lease on life and helped me meet a lot of really wonderful people. So I'm not ashamed to say that I didn't pay for this frame. I'm grateful to my mom, and she really helped facilitate a lot of positive things and changes in my life, and has really been she's had a huge impact in my life, of course, but this is just the latest instance of it. So this is, I think, its final form. This is how it's been over the last, 4 years. And I'm gonna talk more about what it means to me using some footage from a recent commute of mine. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments though.